Everybody online, hello, welcome, everybody here. Nice
Hello.
to see you. This is kind of a fun thing for me. I love to dig out my gadgets and toys and just see what junk I have. I do have a lot of junk, and folks online can't see my desk, but you'll see all the things as we go through them. I am a big believer that it's not the equipment that makes the photographer, but boy, is it a lot of fun to have a bunch of junk. So, as we talk about all this stuff through the night, it's really just to help me get the shot that I'm envisioning. And if I don't envision it, it doesn't matter what things I have to start with. So it all starts with the vision. And so folks online, I have you muted. Everybody's muted. That way you don't have to worry about background noise and things like that. If you want to ask a question or make a comment, you just in the lower left of your window, click on the mute. There's a little microphone down there, and you click that and you can talk and stay unmuted as long as you want. And if I start hearing background noise, I'll mute everybody again. So we'll go from there. So first I was going to start with what I carry all my junk around in. And so I have a think tank. Let me get the right name for it. It's their Traveler Security. And this one holds just an awful lot of stuff. It's a roller bag with a handle. And the cool thing with it is in the back, and also there's another place in the front, there's a cable. And so as you're traveling, you can tie the bag to something. So when I'm in an airport, I'll just lock this to a chair, one that doesn't have legs that lift up. And if I fall asleep, I don't have to worry about my bag walking away. When I'm traveling in the car, even around town, I will lock this into my car. It has a TSA combination lock, which the zipper locks into, which is more of a hindrance than a true preventer.
How much does it weigh?
Empty? How much does it weigh is the question. Not much. I mean, I don't know, 3 pounds maybe. It's pretty light. They make a small, I have two this size, and I have a smaller one, the International Traveler, which supposedly fits in any international overhead.
It seems like some of the airlines are getting a little bit
smaller. Yeah, they're getting a lot smaller, yeah.
Like it was 22 inches.
Yeah.
It's 21 and a half.
Yeah, so if I'm not sure, I take the international bag.
So, I mean, when I just flew back a couple weeks ago from Cayman, my computer was in and it
yeah.
So I took the computer out.
Right.
It was that happening.
So yeah, this is the older version. Think tank. The newer version has a slot for your laptop. This is the older one. My international is the newer one, so I can get my laptop in there, and I can also get the iPad in there. And it has, the normal inside with movable partitions. Thank you. Yes.
What's that baby cost?
What's it cost? $300.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they last forever. So
yeah.
How many do you need to buy? One. Yeah. Which is why I have 3. But then my day-to-day travel, this is what I work with, my mind shift. And if you think I've got a lot of junk, you should see how many freaking camera bags I have and backpacks and things that I've tried. And I finally found the one, and it's the Mind Shift. And this one is the medium size. I think it's 26L. Where'd the number go? But they have 3 different sizes. The bigger one is too big for me. I can get everything I own almost into it. Then I can't carry it. I mean, I have a monster size. A long time ago, I bought this huge backpack. And I could get a lot of things in there, but I couldn't pick it up. I was like, well, that was stupid. So this one is nice. I can get 2 bodies, 4 lenses, a flash, a bunch of other stuff. And again, it's partitions you can move around. Nice mesh on the lid. And the cool thing is, if you have a backpack, you have to have a waist belt. I mean, that's where the weight, and this is a nice thick padded waist belt. And when you have the backpack on, you can spin it around, and they designed it so the waist belt will hold it, and you can just have it sticking out the front, and you can open it up and get inside without setting it on the ground.
What's the longest lens you normally put?
I always have a 300-2.8. I have a 400-4.5 that I carry in here sometimes. I don't put them both in because then I don't have enough room for my other lenses. But actually, I have. I lied. Yeah, there's times when I'll put both the 400 and the 300, or the 100 to 70 to 200. Is that what I said? 70 to 200 is what I normally carry in here with another. So I usually have 1 camera and lens in the front pocket, 2 other lenses, and then I've got an optional pocket for either another lens or camera or whatever I want there.
Can you fit the backpack in the think tank?
Good. Yes, but there wouldn't be anything else in there.
Right.
Yes. So my brother taught me this trick.
You can switch it out and take the stuff out of it.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah. So one of the problems with this is, again, I don't have wheels on it. So when I'm carrying it, especially when I'm traveling.
Right.
And so I frequently carry this as my carry-on under the seat, personal items, yuck, but it's sticking out that far. And then strap it to the handle on the think tank bag and roll it. So, but my brother has he just has a real cheap roller suitcase. And just throw the bag in the cheap roller suitcase.
Yep.
And
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's how you get wheels on it.
Yep.
So this has a rain cover for it too. It has tripod holder holes and all kinds of things. You can get the laptop in the front and an iPad. So for me, this is the bag. This is the bag.
Is it Lone Pro or is it Mindshift?
Mindshift, which is Think Tank.
Okay.
So they're owned by the same guys.
And it comes in nice colors.
And it comes in nice colors. Yeah, this one's green. They have black.
Blue one.
You have a blue one. Yeah. They're really good. And I beat the hell out of this, and I've had this one, I don't know, 3 years, and
I did take the guts out of it when I went to Peru. I put it in my suitcase and took my box.
yeah. So
I can pack this case.
Ava just had a good thought that, I always run into this problem of how much am I carrying when I'm traveling and how much am I putting in suitcase. And so sometimes I'll want this bag when I get there, but I don't want to carry it with me. So I will put it in my suitcase, but take all the guts out of it and just use this as almost a liner inside of the suitcase, and then fill it up with the suitcase stuff. And then I'll ship it, and then I'll have carry on in my think tank bag, because I don't ever want to check my photo gear. Although I have, but on the way back, never on the way. So speaking of that kind of thing, so I am a big fan of packing cubes for clothes, and I brought the wrong one. I brought the wrong one. So I have ones that have double zippers. So you can put your clean clothes on one side, and then it has a zipper on the other side. So I have one bag for socks. So I take the socks out of the clean side, and I put the dirty ones back in on the other side. I just have to remember which side's which. But the ones that I have mesh on one side. So the mesh are sturdy side. That way the stink gets out. No, but packing cubes just really make a huge difference for packing my suitcases when I'm doing that. I'm a big fan of lens wraps too. So these are basically just soft wraps. This is Domke. A lot of people make them, but they have Velcro on the corners. So you can just wrap a camera and you just wrap it up and the Velcro will hold, and you have a nice protector for that. So they're just camera wraps or lens wraps.
What makes that?
This one's Domke, D-O-M-K-E.
Lauren, what did you say that's called?
It's a lens wrap or camera wrap, depends
Okay.
on who's making them.
Thank you.
But they're just cloth. This one's about 12 inches square. They make different sizes too,
Thanks.
but they're pretty spiffy. So a question online: what do you recommend for a sling messenger style bag? I've got a dozen. If anybody wants to buy a used one, I'm gonna have a used bag sale. They don't work for me because the weight's on one side, and I end up getting a sore back or sore shoulder. And that's the beauty of this bag, is you've got the waist bag, and then get that weight on the Mindshift bag. So Domke, just for those who like, Jim Domke was a photographer for the Philadelphia Inquirer back in the 70s and 80s, and photographers didn't have a decent camera bag. So he got out his sewing machine and made a canvas camera bag. And by the end of the 70s, every news photographer in the country had a Domke bag. And he finally sold out to one of the major manufacturers, but hopefully Jim made a ton of money. Probably didn't, probably got screwed by. But everybody used to have a Domke bag, and they still make them. I don't remember who owns them now. I love little bags for things. Porta-Brace is a company that makes, they're famous for video bags. All the big video guys have Porta-Brace bags, but they make this real nice padded zippered bag. They're fairly inexpensive, although Porta-Brace is not anything inexpensive. If you're ever in Bennington, Vermont, that's where they're made. They have an outlet store, but they're really nice. You can get a lot of stuff in a little Porta-Brace bag, and it's got that nice padding, and so you can get a lens in there, or camera body, or whatever you need to get going.
Who did you say makes that, Lauren?
Porta-Brace, Portabrace.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brace. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Bless you. Okay, whoever that is, it's going to get muted. Okay, so I find sometimes I'm lazy. Oh my, and I don't want to carry a camera bag. So if I just want to carry one or two other lenses, I have this little gizmo, which this one is made by Velo, which Velo is one of the B&H brands. B&H, a lot of things that you buy at B&H are renamed things for them. Velo is one of their companies. They have like, I don't know, 16 different companies that sound like they're real companies, but they're not. They're just cheap stuff. Anyway, but this is just a cool thing with a strap. So you can just snap a lens onto it and then walk around with one lens or two. So you can put two lenses on there and just throw that over your shoulder, around your neck, whatever, and walk around.
So you bend over and it gets the dirt.
Till you've been to, well, yeah, there's obstacles involved, but no, they work great. I use that when I'm feeling lazy. If I don't want to carry my whole bag and I want a couple of lenses. Pardon me?
What is that called? Just a lens carrier, or?
Yeah. This one, like I say, this one's called the Rapid Lens Changer.
Oh,
And
I have the Peak Design version. Peak Design.
Peak Design makes one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So this one is Velo's. They make them for, different camera models. So this is Canon because I have a Canon, Nikon, Sony
Okay.
mounts, whatever mount you have. They make them. This one's LRC-C10. And they do make one-sided ones, but two-sided makes more sense to me because you might want to take two out. Okay. Okay. So I am big into light. Light's what photography is all about. And I light as much as I can. And so different kinds of lights. So I am not into cheap Chinese knockoffs of name brands. I stay away from them, except Yongnuo or whatever the hell. YONGNUO makes tremendous flashes, either Nikon or Canon. I think they're doing Sony now too.
Yeah, I think so.
They are exactly like the name brand ones at a third of the price. YONGNUO.
Young, no.
Yongnuo Digital. I mean, I guess I have 4 of these now.
Could you repeat that again, Lauren? Y-O-N?
Yep, YONGNUO. So online on my website, I'll put it on the chat here, and I'll put it on the video when I put the video up. At laurenphotos.com/gear, I list a lot of the things we're going to talk about with links to them. So if you missed that, it's laurenphotos.com/gear. While we're talking about it.
Question, Lauren.
Yes.
What do you think of the Godox brand?
I don't own any. So the question is what I think of Godox. I don't own any. I know a lot of people who do, and they like them. Again, they're for the most part a Chinese knockoff of name brand stuff, but it's good stuff from what I hear.
They're much like their Adorama uses them, and they call them Flashpoint. They do
Yes.
this Flashpoint.
Yeah.
And so what they've done, which is their claim to fame, is an integrated system. So they range from smallest little flash up to studio flashes, all with the same trigger system, and they're very effective.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one thing that I like about these is if I'm using a flash, I'm probably using more than one. So they talk to each other.
Right.
They talk to the Canon ones too.
Right.
And so this model is the, where'd it go? 600 EX-RT2,
Right.
which is Canon's, Canon's top model is the EX-RT2. So but they have the transmitter too.
Yeah.
And so you put this on your hot shoe and it will fire remotely the other flashes, and you can control the brightness from these, and you can power them down and all kinds of things with the transmitter. Again, it's much less expensive than Canons or Nikons, and works just as well, and the design is almost identical. Each thing, they move one thing in one little spot, I guess, to not get sued as bad. But like I said, they're great stuff, but I hate promoting them much. The other guys do all the research, and then these guys just come along and knock them off.
And they are pure knockoffs.
And they are pure knockoffs. But I know, and I've had people ask, how long do they last? Well, as long as I've used them. I mean, I've had them for a couple of years, but at a third of the price, if it only lasts, a third as long as the Canon, I'm better off. So, unfortunately. Light. Oh, we're talking about light. So, I like light. So one of the things that I have now are these little cube lights, and these are these are not the LumaCubes. They're the same thing. I don't know if these are cheap knockoff, but these are the Wistech. Is that right? Now my brain just went out on me. So they're controlled via an app. Mirfak is what they are. That's what they are. MIRFAK. and they're less expensive than LumaCubes. I don't know if they're quite as good, but they are, like I say, it's run Bluetooth through your phone app, and you can control the brightness, and they have filters and
Color
yeah,
gels.
yeah. So they got a little dome you can put on them. You got colored gels you can put on them, all kinds of things. So
Lots of toys.
a lot of toys with those. So they will go anywhere.
They're terrific if you're doing a copy stand
Oh yeah,
and you put them on either side of the copy stand. They're terrific that way.
yeah. So I use them for long exposure night stuff a lot. Just we'll stick a one someplace just to give a little
Be
bit of
good for macro too.
be good for
Yeah,
macro.
Yeah.
Use your ring
Yeah.
light.
Yeah, they're like $75 a piece.
Yeah.
So they don't come with this really fancy bag.
Litra is the other major brand that's
Yeah.
come out along with LumaCube.
LumaCube has a lot more accessories that you can. They got all kinds of
Yeah.
shaping cones and all kinds of
Shapes and-
things you can shape it with. I like flashlights too. So I do a lot of light painting, and my workhorse light painting flashlight is Stanley Fat Max. Rechargeable. I have a couple of these. And I tricked mine out. I put me a carabiner on there so I can clip it to anything as I'm going along. I like carabiners and clipping things so I can just get hands-free with it. And this one, the light is really, really cool, blue, cool light. So I popped the glass off the front, plastic, the filter off the front of it, and stuck in some warming gel. So just got this just cheap, you can see the color maybe, warming gel. You can just buy it anywhere, any camera store or online. This is amber or orange, and just cut it out and pop the glass up. Took the rubber off, put it underneath. So now I have a nice warm light all the time. I don't have to worry about what color it is. How much? A Stanley Fat Max is about $40.
I just bought one.
Just bought one, yeah.
It comes with a red filter too.
Yeah, it comes with a red filter for night vision. So I don't know if this on my gear page. I have a really good. I think it is this one, headlamp. You might notice I have a little chunk of gel on it because this one's really warm, or a really cool light. So when I use it for light painting, I put this gel on there to make the light less blue, more yellow, nice warmer light. But I always want to have a headlamp that does. A couple of things are very important to me for headlamps. AA batteries. I don't want rechargeable batteries because I don't use it that much, and rechargeable batteries always die when I don't want them to. And so if your rechargeable's dead, what are you going to do? Wait until it charges, right? If you get one, and I think actually it's AAA batteries in this one. Replaceable batteries, it's either got to be AA or AAA. Anything else is a pain in the ass to find. So
But I don't think they're as strong.
they might not be as strong,
Rechargeables
but
like you
but
don't ever get.
how often do you really need that bright? I mean, especially if you're out at night and you've been out for a while, the light doesn't have to be that bright. Your eyes will adjust to it pretty quick. I carry a couple of different ones with me. I have one that's a little brighter than this, and
The one with the buttons, so 1, 2, 3.
yeah. And so the other thing I want on a headlamp is one that has a red light. And so red lights, when you're out in the dark, after about 20 minutes, your eyes have adjusted to the light and you're seeing a lot more. And if you turn on a white light or look at the back of your camera, your eyes reset and it takes you 20 minutes to readjust. But if you use a red light, your eyes don't readjust to brightness. And so that's why you see a lot of people out at night with red lamps. So you can still see, you can see your camera, you can make adjustments, but your eyes haven't reset. So make sure you get a headlamp with a red
And it's also your exposure is less influenced by the red. It's kind of like an old darker.
Right, right.
And you don't piss off the other.
And you don't piss-
people.
Exactly. I will show you, I can show you plenty of photos though that have a red glow in the foreground. Like, okay, people, turn off the red lamp too, please. So I have, and I thought I had it in my van, but I didn't. My favorite flashlight is a Nebo. Now I forgot the name of it. I gotta go look at my website really quick. Redline Flex 450. Nebo, N-E-B-O. And it's only, I don't know, 4 inches long, and it's 450 lumens. And it's got a magnet on one end, so you can stick it to things. And it is just tremendous. It's a very bright, and it's adjustable beam, so you can make it pretty narrow or pretty wide. It has a rechargeable battery that is the size of a AA. So if the rechargeable battery goes dead and you don't have time to charge it, which only takes about 15 minutes, you can take out the rechargeable battery and stick in a AA. So you're never dead in the water, which I think is the greatest thing ever. But that little sucker is, and I only have one of them, but I put it on my Christmas list 4 times. So I'm hoping, and they're yeah, no, brings me 4. I want 4 of them because I couldn't find mine today. It's so damn small that I want to have one in every bag so I don't have to look for it. I'm going to get a bunch of them. They're about $25 each, but they're just really powerful little flashlights that are, well, I've got those too. Yeah, I've got on my page, I have a tactical light, which aren't bad to have because they're tactical for a reason. You know, somebody's coming at you, at night, you can just blind them. You can just put them down on their knees because they can't see. They can't see. So my real tactical light is my Cyclops. So this is the Cyclops Colossus, and this is an 18 million candle power. And this puppy will just light up pretty much everything I've tried to light up.
What bag do you put that in?
What? Well, what bag do I put that in? I have put this in my suitcase and traveled with it, and it literally took up a quarter of the suitcase. It doesn't weigh that much, but it takes up space. I light up trees and islands and waterfalls and buildings and just all kinds of things with this baby. And it's, you know, you'd think, oh, that thing must cost a couple $100, but it's only like $70. So I have no idea what it's made for. I don't know, you know, but there's a link to it on my website too. But
Emergency landing strip light.
I really don't know what it's for, but it's got handles, and you know, any flashlight that comes with a neck strap I like, you know. So that's one of my favorites there. Oh, when we were talking about flashes, you know, AA batteries inside of it, I use rechargeables a lot, but an external battery pack is a great thing. And so they make a lot of different ones. You know, this is Jackrabbit by Dynalite. Dynalite's a nice New Jersey company out on Route 22 in Hillside. But one thing, you know, this one's about 20 years old, and I've replaced the battery 3 times in it. So any of these battery packs, the battery inside of it is just some normal battery. And if you go to Batteries Plus, and you just open it up and take it out, they'll have one that matches it. Or you know, they charge, I think, $90 to replace the battery, and I get them for $30 at Batteries Plus. And you know, it's just all a matter of pulling a little plug off and pushing it back in. They're great. But if you want to skip the whole box, you can make your own. And all you need is figure out what amperage and what voltage it is. So if you're using a flash that has 4 AA batteries are 1.5 volts times 4 is a 6 volt battery. So you just go buy your 6 volt battery, and you can, you know, this will fire 600 times, you know, boom, boom, at a full power. I don't recommend carrying this through an airport. Because you better be able to explain what the hell that is. You know, when you've got something that's got wires coming off of a battery with hot glue on it,
I think they'll take that away.
you just better, you know, I just don't recommend carrying that onto the airplane. But they're easy to make and they're cheap and
They
they
might
will,
not even make it through your checkpoint.
oh, yeah, they might not go in and check, I don't know. I have traveled with them, but not recently, but I used to travel with them a lot.
Here's a question.
Yes.
What type of gadgets have you ever gotten stopped for that are in your bags that we would want to possibly take?
Whatever. So the question is, what gadgets have I ever been stopped for? Nothing. I mean, I can talk my way out of it. I mean,
It depends on where you're traveling to.
yeah, it's usually weight, you know.
When I was in Norway, and it was a pretty big group, they opened every single camera bag.
Yeah.
And they turned the camera on and they wanted you to take a picture.
Sometimes in Newark, I have.
Did they look at the picture?
Yeah, they wanted you to take
To
a
see
picture
that it
to
really
see
was
that
a
it really
camera.
was a
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah,
And,
I
you
mean,
know, half of us, you know, we don't have our batteries.
oh, I always make sure I have batteries, and yeah,
And
I'm
no,
always
no,
ready
they're
to
in the
fly.
bag, but they're not in
Yeah,
the-
I'm always ready to
Get the
fire.
battery, put it in the camera, take the picture.
You know, is there a reason why you don't, or does the airline require that you take the lithium-ion batteries out of the camera? Before it goes
I
on?
don't
No,
usually do that,
so
but-
the question is about lithium-ion batteries in airplanes. You have to carry them on. You can't put them in your checked luggage because they will catch on fire, and they'd rather have it up in the cabin where they put out the fire than down below where they can't. I carry mine in lithium-ion bags. They're essentially fireproof bags. So I have little bags that I didn't bring any of those. Well, you know, nope.
BA sells them. I have those, they're little bags.
They're just little bags you
And
just
they
fold
have
up
a
and
little slit for your battery. BA
Yeah.
sells them, and it's like a tiny little backpack. It's about this big. It holds like 4 batteries.
yeah, there's all different sizes.
They want to make sure that the end connection point is protected against reaching another connection point.
Right.
And
So you
it's
have to have them wrapped in
really
something,
sweet.
either a case or a.
Yeah.
2 and 4.
I think I had
There's
something like, I mean, I
there's
have just
cheap ones
my
on-
batteries in general,
That's fine, yeah, because
but it's kind of like a woven neyron fabric.
No, this
It's
is
not-
pretty, like canvas, it's pretty thick.
Yeah, mine are silvery.
Yeah, it's pretty thick.
Yeah. I should have brought those. What do you know?
Separates-
Yeah, something for the next time. So then my mother of all batteries is my Goal Zero Yeti 150. I love this baby too. This will power about anything. It has a AC outlet. It has 2 USBs. It has a 12 volt, so cigarette lighter, and this thing will hold a charge. I light things all day with this. It's pretty heavy. It takes a while to recharge, but Goal Zero is big into solar, and so I'm making my own solar panels to recharge this baby. Kind of out of hoots and hollers, but I've got the solar panels and I got all the stuff. I just got to put it all together. But I haul this around, and this is another one where I left it in the car and it got too hot and the battery exploded inside of it.
Whoa.
So I opened it up and went over to Batteries Plus, and yep, they had the battery. So it was like, I don't know, $60 for the battery instead of $250 from Goal Zero. This thing's pretty expensive, but
So
But
it has Yeti 150 on the front. Is that made by Yeti? Is it?
no, that's their model number.
Oh,
They have
okay.
different sizes of
Okay.
these. This is the smallest one. They make bigger ones too.
Hmm.
It's a pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool battery. So I have sleep apnea, you know, and so I need to use a CPAP machine.
Mhm.
This will drive my CPAP machine all night. So I mean that's a lot of power, you know. So when I'm out someplace where I don't have electricity, you know, I want to have this with me so I can breathe all night. Right? Okay. What else? That was battery stuff. Lights, batteries. Anything else along that line? We'll get to, while we're talking batteries, talk heaters. So when I'm doing night photography and astrophotography, sometimes your lens will get condensation on it pretty quick. Maybe be outside 10, 15 minutes with condensation. Condensation occurs when the air is colder, when the camera is colder than the air, right? So this is a lens warmer. So you just wrap this around the lens, a heater, wrap this around the lens. Then you plug this into the Yeti or oh, I did have another battery I'm going to talk about. So I have this battery, which is a RAV power, RAV power. This is a solar powered battery. And I just leave this one in the windshield of my van all the time. So it's always charged. And then whenever I use it, it just goes back in the van and I know it's there. But this will drive this all night. So I can plug this in and it'll keep condensation off my lens as I'm shooting stars. So if I want to do it, how often? Every time that I do astrophotography.
It gets that much change.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if I'm doing star trails and I want to do a long, like a 4 hours, you know, wrap this around it. There's other ways, you know, you can just get the chemical hand warmers and tie a sock around it, you know, something just to keep that lens warm. But this was, I don't know, $12.
Lauren,
Yes.
what about in the summertime when you have the camera in an air-conditioned room, you come out and it's warm out? Same deal?
Well, no, you're rarely gonna, I mean, it's gotta be pretty damn humid before your camera's gonna fog up. You wanna let it warm up slowly. What's worse is when it's cold outside and you go into a pool, a swimming pool area. When I worked for a newspaper and we had to shoot swimming, it was like, you know, forgotten. We were driving, left the camera in the car and it was frozen and you took it inside and it just went poof, you know, so we'd be standing in the restroom with the hand warmers, you know, the hand dryers blowing on there, warming it up. Generally, it's got to be really humid out and hot or your camera really cold to have it do anything in the summer. But I would rather just let it warm up slowly than try to do this, because this wouldn't warm it up fast enough to beat that situation. But in a cool night, it'll do that. Okay. That's why they don't make it out of glass. Oh, it is glass. I also have a whole bunch of just little batteries that I carry, rechargeable. You know, 5,000 amp, 6,500 amp to recharge things, because I always seem to be out of power. Power is power. What else we got? Okay. So this is one of the great gadgets. So some things are cheap. This is one of them. This is a 3 to 4 inch rubber plumbing adapter, which just happens to fit on a Canon 16 to 35 millimeter lens. So if you look really good when you walk around with this. So
at least it doesn't have the toilet handle.
the plunger is off. But if you're shooting through glass and you're getting reflections, you need to do something to block the reflections. Now you can buy all kinds of things and spend a lot of money, or you can go to Home Depot and spend $6, get you one of these, and you might need to trim it down a little bit if you get vignetting, but you just put that right on the glass and no lights coming in and you're good to go.
What is that?
This one is a 3 to 4 inch.
That's a plunger.
Well, it's a
Toilet plunger.
no, it's not a toilet plunger. Actually, it comes with 2 bands on it. It's for plumbing, it's for pipes. So you have a 3 inch pipe and you have a 4 inch pipe, and this will connect 3 and a 4 inch pipe to join them together. So it's in the plumbing.
It's used with typically adapting copper to a dissimilar thing like plastics where you can't join them.
Right.
That's what it's
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, so it's in the plumbing section.
Make that big rubber black thing that collapses. You seen that?
Yes, yeah, they have the big rubber
I have
things
one
that,
of those. I've
yeah,
never used it, but I have it.
yeah,
Looks like Tupperware.
yeah.
Yes, it's like, it opens up, it
Yeah.
collapses.
It's so, yeah, Ava has the big ones. They're about foot across, aren't they?
Well,
mean,
he gave it to me. It's neat.
Yeah, I mean, unless you know you're going someplace, that's really tough to just carry around in case I need it. This I just leave in the bag, and if I need it, it's there. That's one thing. If almost all this stuff fits in my bag, my big roller bag, that is almost always with me when I'm shooting. So it's in the car. I don't carry that with. I don't roll it out. I have all the stuff in my backpack, but I know it's nearby. So if I need, I don't want things to be at home. There's no reason for me to have gear at home when I'm out shooting, because it's always the gear at home that I want. So I need to find a way to keep it with me. So that's why I have that big bag and fill it up. Filters. I'm liking Lee's, L-E-E. This is their 100mm filter holder. So this snaps right onto your front of your lens, and then you can slide 100mm filters down into it. That works great. I have also what brand is this one? Who's that? I don't remember. See, they should put their name on them. This one has different rings you screw onto the front of your lens, and then it slides into that ring. So there are a couple of different ways of doing filters. So that must be a Tiffin. So that one uses a smaller one. So this is a split neutral density. Can we see the splits? Yeah. So you can see that part of it's dark, part of it's light. So if you're shooting something where the sky is bright, you can slide this into your holder and then adjust it to wherever the horizon is or whatever you want to darken down. I don't use these much anymore because Lightroom does it as well, if not better, and I don't have to carry the junk. So I don't use split neutral densities much anymore. But once in a while, like eclipses, I need to have something to hold solar filters, which don't try using ND filters for eclipses or you'll burn out everything. So that's a bad thing. Speaking of filters, I am high on a Breakthrough Photography. It's called Breakthrough Photography. This is their X4 ND filter. And the reason I'm high on them is the way they're built. And they make them with this really nice grippable edge to them. They're solid. The glass is really good.
And they're guaranteed for life.
They're guaranteed for life. You scratch them, you send it back, they'll send you another one. I mean, they're crazy.
How do they compare to B&W?
So the question is, how do they compare to B&W? I think they're built as well, and the glass is as good, and they cost half as much. I like that, right? This is the polarizer. So they're really well built, and like I say, if they break or anything, they'll replace them. They also make really nice step down rings. So if you want to save a little money, you buy the biggest filter size that you need for whatever lens takes the biggest one. So my biggest is 82mm, and so rather than having two ND filters, one for my 82 and one for my 77, I have a 77 to 82mm step up ring or step down ring, whichever way you want to call it. So the breakthroughs are really good step up rings too. So question, are they magnetic? Not this one, but they make a magnetic series also that are really cool. And so you have a little ring that you screw into the front of your lens, and it has magnets built in, and then the ND or the whatever filters will stick right to it, and it's really cool. So those are really good. So I'm big on these guys right now. They're
And they just came out with a tripod,
I was just gonna put that on.
Colorado
That's good. So they also have Colorado Tripod Company. You almost can't buy one right now.
I bought it.
They
I got the
they've
last
sold-
one at the show.
they've sold out, and they're retooling, and they're coming out with another line, which they're light, they're small, they're inexpensive,
And they're sturdy.
and they're sturdy as
Really
hell.
well made.
Rick bought one too.
I got
Um,
one at the
and
New
they're-
York show. I got
they're-
the last one.
I did too.
Their heads are magnificent, and you can't get them right now either,
They
but
didn't
but
have
they
the
will.
head.
but-
Are you gonna be a
So I'm
distributor?
going to be a distributor for them and a pro beta tester.
So when you
So-
get the head, let me know.
So yeah, because my Really Right Stuff head is worn out, so I'm limping through until these guys come out with their bigger one
I love
with
one.
the clamp. So not to put down a company, but I don't know about Really Right Stuff, they if you're into I guess human rights, they aren't. They're big supporters of the anti same-sex marriage campaign in California, and
Who is really right?
Really Right
Really
Stuff.
great stuff.
And then they moved to Utah.
As long as you have 20 wives, it's okay.
Yeah. So I do know I've met several photographers who won't buy Really Right Stuff because of their political connections, which, whatever it does for you.
Actually, I think the Colorado Tripod Company is actually in Utah.
Oh my goodness.
I talked to them though.
Well,
yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah. They said, no, we don't have those political views.
Yeah.
So.
But they're I love it. I'm just, and I collect backpacks and tripods like they're candy also. I have a bed,
Yeah.
closet full of tripods. And the Colorado tripod is amazing. It's not heavy. It folds up really small, but it's not like one of these portable ones, that like the wind blows. No, it's not flimsy at all. It's like a tank.
They
I
make a
love
claim that it'll support 50 pounds. And I
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
Well, I put a 150-600 with a D500 on it, and it's like a rock with a big gimbal.
Yeah.
And it was.
I meant to put
Make tripods, instead of having a key ring that always gets loose, but they can't tell. And not, that little thing at the bottom.
Yes.
Mine's always listens to it.
Yes, that's what they're working on, is the clamp head. So you just clamp it.
That would be so
That's
much
what-
better.
That's what Really Right Stuff is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So instead of screwing it, you clamp it down.
Doesn't
Okay.
Manfrotto make one that does that?
Yeah, they make.
They make a clamp, but Manfrotto's aren't.
They're not
prob-
Arca Swiss.
They're not Arca Swiss, so they don't
They have
fit
to get their own-
everybody else's. So stay away from.
It's
It's
Arca
just
Swiss
kind of
is a universal design.
It's kind of the standard
Just it
mount.
looks just like that. So it's got a groove along
It'll
the
fit
edge.
on any tripod except for.
except for.
It has
Yeah.
their own.
So filters, I carry neutral density filters. I carry polarizers, and that's pretty much it. I have a variable neutral density filter, which I don't like. The variable ones they change color. They'll put X marks in things sometimes. So I have one in here, but I stay away from it. This is my favorite little filter bag. This is Mind Shift also. This one holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 filters, which that's sometimes I have a smaller. They have a 4 carrier. I have a 4 one too.
What size filters?
Well, so these are 77 and 82 millimeter. That's what my lenses are, except for my macro, which is 62. So they all fit in here, but an 82 will fit real nice in here.
Did they make them, you and I talked at your gallery opening about, me getting that zoom lens. I did go with
Right.
a Nikon 200 to 500.
Good.
I didn't go with my D5600 Nikon. But that's a 95 millimeter lens. When I got a UV filter for it, I was like, oh great, $107 for a B&W UV filter
Yeah.
to protect the primary element. And now I'm hesitating to get any more filters because there's no way I can get all my filters in my camera bag. And something that big is going to take up one pouch right off the bat.
No, I have that lens too, and you don't want to buy filters for it.
Right.
You know?
No, you won't use it. You won't
No.
use them.
It doesn't have a drop-in slot.
No, they don't have a drop-in slot.
So the big lenses don't have filters go in the front. They have a slot that it drops into farther back in the lens barrel. And so they end up being about a 52 millimeter usually.
Oh,
yeah.
And so you can put a polarizer back there or ND, but if you have a big lens, I don't know why you'd ever want a neutral density filter for a great big lens. But
Well, actually, I was a little frustrated. I tried taking a photo of the cold moon last week. I had gotten some really nice shots when the timing is the moon's rising as the sun's setting, and there's a lot of sky illumination. Unfortunately, the moon rises about 52 minutes later each day, and it was
Right.
black by the time it rose, and I was getting white blobs. So, not knowing some of the other tricks of like using f8 and 1/16 of a second, I could use a neutral density for that zoom lens. So I grabbed my 18 to 300 millimeter lens, which I do have 67 millimeter NDs for, and I put on a 3-stop on it to see if that would help. It gave me some light dark features of the moon, but it didn't give me the craters. And of course, the 500 I would need.
well, that is just a matter of your straight exposure, and neutral density is just going to make your shutter speed slower. It's not going to change your exposure.
Oh.
We can talk about that later, but that's not a case where you'd want to use a neutral density filter.
Okay. Well, I was desperate. I was
Yeah.
trying to
No.
get detail on
So what you
this.
wanted to do is
Fury by second.
you just wanted to make your exposure darker is what you wanted to do. Okay. I still got junk on the table. Carabiner I mentioned earlier. This was a cool one that I literally stole off another photographer's backpack in Reykjavik. She had a bunch of them. No, she gave it to me. This is called a Hero Clip. And it is really cool, and it moves into all kinds of different places. So you can hang things on it. You can clip like a normal carabiner. It just does all kinds of wacky things. And the first time I used it, it took me at least 15 minutes to figure out how to get it back into that shape. Because it wasn't logical to my brain. I kept trying to do this, but it's a real cool carabiner. Not suitable for climbing. So if you're into climbing, don't try to carry your weight with that baby. Okay, crazy stuff. I know Rick's got dozens of these crampons. On my page, I list this set of crampons. And if you're out in the snow and ice, these cost, I don't know, $15, $20, and they'll just keep you from sliding all over the place. And this brand is, what the hell was the name of this brand? It's on my page. They're cheap and seem to be pretty good, but if you're hiking on Everest, you probably want real ones, not those. Rain cover, got a rain cover for your camera. This is Rugged, which is again a B&H brand, but just something to wrap around your lens and your camera, because we all know that being out in the rain is the best time to shoot, right? Although it sucks, but there's all kinds of these. I have another one that has, and it's on my page. This one's not. Yeah, clear window on the back so you can see what you're doing. You can chimp and you can do everything with that on there. Filter clamps. So I bet once every workshop I break out, somebody will say,
Can't get my
I can't get my filter off. I'll say, don't you worry. So get metal ones. I have plastic ones. I snapped a plastic one. Well, it wasn't mine, unfortunately. So we were out remote in Vermont, and somebody couldn't get their filter off. And we're getting ready to do night stuff, and they had a polarizer on, and it was jammed on there, and I couldn't get it off. And so I said, "Oh, I'll run back to the car and get my filter." And the guy said, "No, I've got one here." And it was a plastic one, and I clamped on that, and it went pop. And I thought, "Oh, nice." So fortunately, I had a plastic one in the car. So when I went to the car to get the wire one to get the filter off, I gave him my plastic one. So, but these are really cheap, and they make a couple different sizes, but seem like one size fits all. But they will save the day. I always carry Band-Aids in my camera bag. Can't have too many of those.
Let me go down a little bit to that.
These are Band-Aids. They're made by Johnson & Johnson. Right there in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And
Those newfangled
yeah, Robert Wood Johnson, you've heard of him?
I'm thinking for that clamp, gripper. You know, you have those bottles that you can't get.
Yes.
You have those little rubber grippers.
Yes.
Would that work?
Maybe. So the real trick to taking a filter off is not squeezing the filter, because when you squeeze it, it changes the shape. So if you grab a hold of it and squeeze it, and so what these do is they don't squeeze it because it's all the way around.
Oh my gosh, my gosh.
So it will. So a gripper will. You're pushing at it. Yeah. Yeah. You can't get it off if you push on two sides, because
Okay.
they're more pliable than you think.
I should add, there's another use for that if you're using a step-down ring, especially the ones from.
Yeah.
It's hard to grip that.
It's hard to grip those. Air blower, always carry one of those. I have a cleaning kit that I didn't break out. Gaffer tape, always have a roll of gaffer tape. Can't have too much gaffer tape. Gaffer, Gaffer. What is it? It is the photographer's dream tape. It is duct tape that doesn't leave residue. So if you use duct tape and you put it on something and you pull it off, there's all that glue stays on it. Gaffer tape, it doesn't. Good stuff, gaffer tape.
When have you used
When have I not?
that?
It's all over everything. It's all over my tripods. I mean, if I need to hold anything, I got something breaks, something tape it together. It's
Tape down the focus ring.
taping down the focus. That's yeah.
Flexibility.
Yeah, thank you. So when I'm doing night exposures and it's focusing, I focus while it's still light out, set it on manual focus, get out some gaffer tape, tape down the focus ring so I don't accidentally move the focus. So shoot, aiming at infinity. Thank you, Gil, for that. These aren't perfect, but they're close. I'm getting there. Gil's laughing at me because he knows what's coming out. So when I was in France last year, or was that this year? That was this year. No, first it was in France. It was just muddy as hell, and we all got just mud up over our ankles, and it was pretty bad. And there was this young lady from China who had on these cheap plastic booties, and I said, "Damn, why didn't I think of that?" So I did. So now I bought a case of cheap plastic, essentially plastic bag booties. They got a little elastic to hold them up so they don't slide down, and you stick your shoe in there, and they will. I did, but people didn't wait. So we're at a workshop.
They don't wear off when you walk.
Yes,
They're like this.
yes, that's what I said. These are almost there.
Yeah.
They make them that have soles on them. So if you notice the flooding in Venice earlier this year, everybody was walking around wearing these plastic things, but they all had. So I've been trying to find out where the hell to get
I
those.
got a pair.
You got a
They're
pair.
on Amazon,
So
and
they're $8. Well,
And
see,
they actually have a sole.
yeah, they have a sole to them,
They're
and
clear. It's like a clear plastic rain boot.
ring, yeah.
So when I got them at my office, they go, "You have the little hat."
That's right. So,
They're like the ones from like the 60s.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Except they're new. and
except they're new and
improved.
improved.
And
Lauren,
they actually
where did you get those things? Where'd you get them?
have to
So,
And they have to
um,
and
so
everything, but-
question is, where did I get these? I found these on Amazon.
And what were they?
Plastic, plastic booties.
Plastic booties?
Yeah,
One time.
there's better ones. So I bought a whole bunch of these so I could give away to people in workshops. And I have to admit, I was too damn cheap to buy $8 ones for, buy $108 ones. So I bought
You can tell
130
people
cent
that they
ones.
can get 'em on-
Yes, you can get those on Amazon,
But
but
does that plastic hold up better than, because
Oh,
those?
yeah,
Yes,
because it's
it'll-
pretty thick.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's like, and it has a sole with like lines and it's.
So we're at a workshop. I was doing a workshop in Maine, and my planning was off a little bit. We crossed this bridge out into an island, and as we came back, tide came in, and there was water on both sides of the bridge. And of course, these were in the van on the other side of the water. And so there's a group in front of us who didn't know that I had a plan if that happened. And so fortunately, there's a jogger guy, and he ran to the van and got a bunch. So some of us kept dry feet because I had some plastic bags in the car. So they're good to keep around. They're fun. How are we doing on time? We're running out of time here. So yeah, those are giveaways if you travel with me. Yes, I will have those. Always have a bunch of these with me when I travel. So you never know. This is a freebie that Canon gave out a few years ago, but they sell similar ones. Just a nice little pop-up reflector. And so just kick a little light in. See, kick a little light to fill in shadows. They're nice. So nice little reflector that fits in the camera bag. Of course, they make them monster size, and if you want to save money, you buy ones that are made for keeping your windshield cool in the summer. Instead of saying camera, they're for windshield, and they're the same thing, except cheap. Oh, something different here. So I do panoramas once in a while. So a couple of things that help me with panoramas. The trick to doing a panorama is having your camera base level. You want the base level before the head. So you got to have the base level. So this is a leveler. So you put this on the tripod, then you put your head on top of this so you can get your base level. If you just level up your tripod head, as you turn it, it's not going to, unless you get the base of the tripod head level. If you just get your ball head and your camera level as you turn, it's probably not going to be level. So this is a leveler, and it has a built-in level. This one's Manfrotto. And then they sell a companion piece that's a panorama head. So this screws on to the leveler, and then it has click stops. So as you pan, it will stop at whatever degree you want to be at. So what do I have it set at now? So that makes it easy to go click, 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 and you don't have to think.
Yeah.
So these are heavy. These weigh a ton. Couple more things. One of my favorite little gizmos is the Pluto, and it's a trigger, and it will activate based on all kinds of other things. This will detect lightning and fire your camera before the lightning goes off. Hard to believe, but it does. It will trigger based on sound. It will trigger based on motion, trigger based on shake.
How old is your Pluto?
How old is this one's about 2 years old.
I have an older one. I have one. It's very temperamental.
They can be kind of fussy.
It's like,
Yeah.
days of the moon is wrong. I don't want to work.
So the original one was a Miops, MIOPS. So the Miops does the same thing. This is an older one. That they have a different shaped one now. Pluto is a knockoff of Miops, to the point where when you look at the owner's manual, on one of the pages, they forgot to take Miops off the bottom of the page, and it still says Miops there instead of Pluto. So they did a bad editing job. So the guts, they changed the shape, but the guts do the same thing. But some things are a little bit better. It'll also a laser. So the Pluto comes with a laser beam. So if you shine a laser beam into it. When something breaks the laser beam, it'll fire your camera or it flashes. So if you want to get stop action, you can break the laser beam and that will.
What is that called and how much does that cost?
This is Pluto. Pluto is about $75, and the Myops I think is about $100. The Pluto comes with the laser beam. The Myops doesn't. They both do about the same thing though.
And it's just called a
Both over
Pluto?
100 now.
But it's on sale right now.
It's on sale right now. Somebody said so. Pluto, yeah, as in the dog and the
Yeah, okay.
Mickey Mouse.
yeah, Mickey Mouse, Pluto, and the planet.
What are they known as generically?
Triggers.
Triggers,
Triggers. They can be
Special
sound
triggers.
triggers.
sound trigger, laser triggers.
Oh,
So it's a remote trigger.
So yeah, so you.
Set it up on your phone.
Where is that on sale?
Somebody said it's on sale right now. I don't. Where at?
You can go on
Pro-
Maps. You can go on the website.
On Maps?
Pluto.
On Pluto's
It's on-
website. Pluto advertises like crazy on Instagram. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but
I just saw it recently.
so if you're on Instagram and you go to Pluto's website, your Instagram feed is going to be filled with Pluto ads. It's a cool little device. Rechargeable battery, which gets temperamental on me, but it's cool. They also have I guess Myops does now, a water dropper too, attachment. So if you want to take photos of water drops, the Pluto water dropper is a cool one too.
question.
Yes, question.
So I was up at Fort Ticonderoga this summer, and they were having a musket demonstration. I was on high continuous shots, 5 a second, to try and capture the flash in the pan before the flash the muzzle. I was able to get one shot, but would this work for something like that?
No, because sound is slower than light. Sound moves slower than light. So once the sound got to you, the flash would already be gone.
Okay.
At night, it'll detect lightning, or it'll detect a flash going off even, but not during the day. Okay, I got a couple other things, but that's it. Oh, my favorite travel item. My favorite travel item is my Bose noise canceling headphones, Bluetooth. These are just the greatest things there are. Flip them on and you do not hear a jet engine at all. It just takes all that aircraft noise right away. And they are tremendous. The Bose, I've had Sony before and they almost worked, but the Bose really.
Are those the QC 35.2s?
Yeah,
Okay.
35 or 45.
35.
25 had the wire, 35 is wireless. Yeah.
I used to work until recently at Apple. I retired recently.
Yeah.
And we sold those. Just to let you know, there are 2 other levels of noise canceling that you can get. There's high, which will cancel out pretty much everything. There's a low setting if you need to get some set in and off. So you have more control of your noise canceling with those.
Yeah.
Like if someone says fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hear people talking, oh, my other do-it-yourself things. They're fun too. So this is my Plamp, which Rick's just over there grinning like, well, you know what this is for?
I know it's.
Oh, so this is for, this is actually version 3, Plamp V3. So when I'm out photographing macro and flowers and they're blowing in the wind, I want something to hold them, right? So version 1 was a clamp with an alligator clip on the end of it, but the alligator clip would break off the flowers, which I don't know why people got pissed at me, but so now I just clamp this to anything, tripod, whatever. Then this end I have just a hook on it, and I can just hook that around a flower, and it's very pliable, and it will reduce. It'll reduce the blowing in the wind. You can buy clamps, and they are called plant clamp. I don't know, they're 25 bucks or so at camera stores, but this one was the clamp was $3.99, and the wire I don't know where I got, so I have about $5 into my clamp. Although this is
Home Depot
version-
clamps.
yeah, Home Depot clamp. But, you know, this is version 3, so I ended up probably spending $15. But I might have recycled the clamp, just redid the wire. But I have different length wires and different weight wires. But do-it-yourself things are fun too. Okay, anybody have any thoughts, anything, Zach?
So I have one, I was kind of wondering if you were gonna get to this one. You always take your laptop with you, but there are times when there's severe weight limitations, and I don't want to drag a laptop along. So they have solutions for downloading your cards into a hard drive. So that's the little device, which is about the size of that battery that you can take.
Right.
And there's a couple of versions of them. If you want to go cheap and dirty, there's a RAV made by the same RAV as a power company. And what it has is a battery in it, and it has a ability to send a signal from a card reader into a hard drive. So it'll power the hard drive, you know, an SSD drive, and you can put your SSD card or your SDLC cards in the slot, and it'll do that. And it's got an Apple, you know, application to make sure you're doing it.
Wow.
So that one is like $70.
Wow.
And it weighs about 6 ounces.
And who's the manufacturer?
It's called RAV Power. So it's this made by the same people.
So
that
it's for storing your SD cards, your
For backup.
pictures, your backup,
your backup.
Yes.
without bringing your computer.
Backing up, and also I happen to have a Nikon camera that takes XQD cards, which are enormously expensive. So I didn't want to buy 20 cards as a, you know, so what I was doing was downloading the cards into the hard drive. I checked to make sure the files were there. And, you know, I did this in Africa, which, you know,
Well, I'd want to have 2 of those hard drives then.
well, yeah, but the hard drives are cheap.
Yeah,
you know.
that's why I would have 2 of them.
Yeah, but we had 20-pound limitations on what we could take. And I had my Nikon 200 to 500 carrying along with me and 2 bodies. So, you know, there was real weight restrictions. Now, there's another company who's come out recently. This is their version 2 called Narbox. It's GNARBOX, and it's the Cadillac version. And what it does is it's very similar in design, but it has a hard disk built into it, so you don't have to schlep one along. But it also has an output port, so you can carry an SSD drive with you as well. And it's got a great interface. It's much fancier, and but it's expensive, very expensive. So the minimum one is like $400.
Yeah.
Have you worn any of those? Another good thing is if you're traveling where there's weight limitation, is the vest.
Yes, I have one.
And when I was going to Lofoten, they put us on this little bitty plane, you know, and you had like the 20 pounds. And I'm like, okay. So I took everything and started putting, I just got fatter by the second, you know, and put everything in those big pockets. And those vests are like, they sell them at
$25, $30. They're not
Yeah,
real
they're nothing,
expensive. Yeah.
but they have huge pockets.
Yeah.
Right. They'll
So you
take
can
a
put your
70 to
lenses-
200 lens. in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can just put your lenses and stuff in there, and all of a sudden you're under 20 pounds.
Yeah.
You may have gained 20 pounds.
Or more.
Oh, I did forget one gadget, one homemade gadget that I couldn't get to work. My lightsaber, which I hadn't used for a while, and I realized that my controller died. So this is simply a strip of LED lights that
I have this.
that I bought. Yeah, you can buy the lightsaber, or you can spend $6 and make your own. And so then it's just a 1-inch PVC tube on the inside, and then plastic tube that you get at Home Depot on the outside. And so the LED strip comes with a little controller.
Can you change the colors?
Yeah, you can change, and it flashes, and so you can do red, green, or blue, and all kinds of flashy things and different colors inside. It comes with a battery pack, or you can plug it in, the USB to plug into a small battery. And so it does some really cool.
There's some pictures to show us what that looks like.
I do, but I don't have them fired up for you. But
So do you use it for like motion and?
yeah,
things
so
like-
you do long exposures and just whale it around, and you get all these different
That's
wild
next
light
class.
streaks. Yeah, well, I'm working on that. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, the
So-
Vermont class had it. It was not great to me.
Yeah. So
I
I have,
recently got a
So
You got a
So
small-
who has the patent on that?
who has the patent?
Oh, yeah, I haven't even taken it out of the box.
So,
I'm a gadget. I'm worse gadget freak than you are.
yes, so this was designed by Wayne, who is online up in New Hampshire, and he's the one who got me going on this and told me where to get the pieces, and has the patent. And I told him as I make millions off of it, I'll give him nickels. But as you can see, Wayne, I haven't improved on it at all yet. So
Just to let you know, I actually do own a lightsaber.
yes,
Because I have photos of you want to see. And
Yes.
if you're considering it, there's a company, Kyber Light. These are $200 right now.
right.
And the nice thing about it is, though I've not used it for photography, is that you can change the light up to 20 different colors
Hmm.
of light on it, where many other manufacturers of lightsabers, I learned when I was shopping for this a couple of years ago, you usually get one color.
Well,
This
you
you
get,
can-
for $5 you can get 3 colors. So
I got mine on Kickstarter.
Okay.
okay, that's it. Anybody else have any other goodies that we ought to know about?
Yeah, Lauren, this is Matthew. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Matthew.
One thing I always carry around is a small handheld gardening clipper. I can't tell you how many times I've been places where there's a tree branch in the way, or I want to photograph a flower and there's a leaf in the way. And it's just, a small thing I bought at Home Depot. And it's so many times, I'm trying to focus, and the last thing I want to do is like hold a branch
Right.
or something. So as long as it's, it's not my, tree that I'm chopping, it's fine.
Yeah, I carry clippers in my van too. So they've come out quite often. Yeah, it's a great thought.
And another thing also is, unfortunately, many times all I have to use is my shoe. But many times, like I'm photographing something and there's a piece of trash in the way, or there's a plastic bag that I really don't want to touch with my hands or whatever. Sometimes I'll carry around like a small stick or something just to get trash out of the way.
Good, good. So question online, did I share my infamous homemade kneeling pad? No, the Lauren pad is still working on that. Thanks, Marcia. Too many people laugh at me. I actually looked into having some made with something on the back, but didn't do it. So anything else?
Do you have the platypus?
Oh, I do have a platypus. I forgot about the platypus. I was going to mention the platypus. Thank you. It's in the side of my bag. So it's a platypod. And what the platypod is a ball head holder, essentially. So you screw your ball head onto here. I don't have one handy.
It's a flat tripod.
It's a flat tripod. You can take these anywhere, and any place you can't use a tripod, you can set up the platypod. And it's got 4 little legs. One end is a pointy point, and the other end's rubber. So you just screw them in here. It comes with a strap. You can strap it to a post or a tree or all kinds of things. So that sits, you have 4 of those. Yeah, I meant to break that out. Thank you for mentioning that. So you can put the screws in the other way so won't move around. Oh, I use it. That's it.
I always want it.
It's called Platypod, Platy pod.
It's a very cool thing.
And I believe they're out of East Brunswick, New Jersey.
Oh,
It's good for like macro if you're somewhere.
Yeah,
or-
if you need to get down low.
They just
yeah, I
came
like
out
that.
with,
Oh,
an
okay.
extension off of that plate that'll hold 2 of those mini lights, those LED lights.
Oh, yeah,
So that you can actually create a copy stand kind of arrangement
Oh,
or a
that's
macro
cool.
stand.
cool.
Those
I'll
are,
have to get that.
yeah.
What did she
so
say? I
they're
can't hear.
bendable legs.
I do a lot of macro, and
So,
if you open my refrigerator, you might find non-edible things, living things in my refrigerator. Because it slows down the bugs. If I
That's
catch
funny.
something, I cool it down for a minute or 2. It still lives, it just doesn't move.
Okay, anything else, anybody?
It's like spiders.
Well, thank you very much. I hoped to had a subject for next month yet, but I didn't get it done. So we'll come up with something and have another one next month.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you very much, everybody online. It's good
Thanks.
seeing you.
Lauren?